We're going to go ahead and graph the data that you've already collected and calculated on the previous video. With the graph, there are two graphs that we're going to be taking a look at. One of them is the total cost, total variable cost, and total fixed cost graph. That's the one that we're doing right now. And as you notice, I have those columns highlighted here. And we'll get a lot of information about that, and then we'll work on a different one. But again, these are some tools you're going to be using as you progress through the next several units. So we have our quantity, that's again along the x-axis, and we're going to go ahead and graph our fixed costs first. At 0, when 0 units are produced, the fixed costs are 50. And what do we know about 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10? The fixed costs remain the same. Remember, fixed costs are a function of time, not of volume. So these stay the same no matter the level of output. So this is our total fixed curve right here, total fixed cost curve right there. The next one we're going to take a look at is total variable costs, and you'll find that in the column TVC. Notice when we're producing 0 units, we don't have any variable costs. But then as we increase our output, those variable costs start to go up. So let's just go ahead and graph that one. Again, 0 quantity, total variable costs are 0. When we produce 1 unit, total variable costs are 20. At 2 units, total variable costs are 35. At 3 units, total variable costs are 45. At 4 units, total variable costs are 50. At 5 units, total variable costs are 60. At 7 units, At 6 units, total variable costs go up to 80. At 7 units, total variable costs are 115. When we produce 8 units, total variable costs go up to about 165. Right about there. At 9 units, total variable costs are $225. So I'll just kind of draw a line there, and where they intersect is that point. I'm then going to go ahead and connect these, and we will have our total variable cost curve column. And again, the unique thing about this one is that it starts out at 0, because when we are producing 0 units, we don't have any labor costs, raw material costs, and the like. So they start out at 0, but we still have to cover those fixed costs. Now the next one on this particular graph is the total cost column. So we're going to look at our total costs, and we're going to add that to the graph as well. When we produce 0 units, we do have some costs, and those are those fixed costs. So at a quantity of 0, total costs, fixed costs plus variable equals 50. When 1 unit is produced, our total costs increase to 70. When 2 units are produced, our total costs increase to 85. At 3 units, total costs are 95. At 4 units, total costs increase to 100. At 5 units, total costs are 110. At 6 units, total costs are 130. At 7 units, total costs increase to about 165. At 8 units, total costs are 215. I'm just going to move up here until I find about 215 and just kind of draw a little line across. So that was at 8 units. So where 8 intersects with that 215 is my next point. And finally, when we produce 9 units, our total costs are 275. So again, I'll go up the cost axis here, my y-axis, and just kind of draw a little line in there. And those are total costs when our output is 9. So I will just have those intersect. And where they intersect, I will connect the dots. This is my total cost column. So we see a total cost curve that looks like this. Now, a few unique things. We know that obviously these are fixed costs, but at any point we can identify at any quantity, we can identify the portion of the costs that are variable and the costs that are fixed. For instance, at 5, we have total costs of about 110. Well, of that 110 in total costs, About $50 are fixed, we know that, and the remaining must be due to variable. So we're going to be going ahead and using this later on when we look at profit maximization point and quantities when it comes to the various degrees of competition, such as monopoly, oligopoly, perfect competition, and monopolistic competition. So that's how you graph the total costs, total fixed costs, and total variable cost curve.